Hello everyone, this is Monica, and in this video I'm bringing you the second part of the work that I did with this technique of alcohol markers on vellum. And here I'm showing the colors that I selected for this background and the vellum, of course the piece of vellum that you're going to need, the alcohol, and then the dropper. I actually did this card or this background right after I did the first one, the one on the first video. I just decided to split the tutorial in two so I didn't end up with a super long video. But the technique is exactly the same. I started by adding my color randomly. I tried to mix and match the colder tones with the warmer tones, just so I had a nice mix when I added the alcohol. But there aren't any rules when it comes to that. You just add the colors just as you would have added them with the alcohol inks. So here I'm trying to cover the entire panel, and I just decided to go diagonal this time around. For the first one I think I went horizontal, and this will be the last little part, the last corner on this green. And I like to add paper towel under, just in case I didn't damage my mat. Then I started to add the alcohol. As you see here, some of the drops were bigger than others. I tried to cover the entire panel, but you don't really have to, because you are going to be able to move the paper around. And then when you use the heat gun to dry it, that's also going to help the color to move around a little bit, and also to make it more live. The colors get more intense when you use the heating tool. I really like this one. The colors I chose, they blended really nicely. Then I used double-sided tape sheet to adhere the entire panel. That way you don't see any glue marks or tape marks when you adhere it to the card base. I use an X-Acto knife to cut it, and then I ended up with two. Now this time around, as much as I love this panel, I wanted to do something different. So I ran it through a die cut. But in this case, this die cut, you end up with a lot of leftover pieces, like a lot of pieces, right? There's almost like a chevron. So once I had here the ones on the left, the thicker ones, I still want to use the skinnier ones. So what I did was, with the actual die, I drew around the frame and inside where the skinny pieces went, and just sort of to have like a guide, because doing this freehand, it's not that easy. And I adhere them one by one. I like to use for this that glue there. It's called a tumble glue, mainly because if you wait a few seconds, when you add it and you wait a few seconds, it becomes a little tacky, so it's not as runny, and it's a lot easier to work with it. And then I think from this point downward, I added the glue to the rest of them, and then I adhere the little pieces after that. So the cool thing, it was a little bit of work, but once it was dry, I cut it, and it was cool because I ended up with two panels from one single piece of vellum. I used foam taped to mount the one of them, and then I adhere it to a card base. It's an A2 card base. That I'm pointing there, a little bit of glue that I have left over, but you can always disguise that with embellishments or something. And that's actually what I did. I had this Hey There die cut that I cut off camera, and I had also the word coach, the sentiment coach, that I stamped and white heat embossed in like a purple cardstock. So I decided for the second panel to just a simple thanks die cut. I didn't add the coach there, I added it on the second one. And these dies, the Hey There and the thanks, are from Simon Says Stamps. Of course, I always have to add a little bit of embellishment, especially in this case because the vellum and on the on the double-sided tape sheet, it's completely matte. You don't have absolutely any sparkle, and I just like a little bit of a sparkle. And here I'm adhering the Coach sentiment. And these actually were these two cards were for my daughter's Irish dancing coaches. Here are the two cards side by side. This is the one with the skinnier frames, and this is the one with the thicker one. I ended up making two more cards with the same technique for Thanksgiving from my daughter's teachers, and these are the ones. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this tutorial. See you next time.